You are probably overpaying for car repairs because you do not know what a $6 can of WD-40 can do for your car. Mechanics and repair shops are counting on you to walk in and pay hundreds for fixes you could handle yourself with just a few sprays of WD-40. They have made it easy for you to spend too much on problems that are actually simple to solve. However, there are 14 real ways to outsmart the auto shop and keep your money in your own pocket. I have personally used every one of these WD-40 tricks, and they have saved me over $8,000 on car maintenance. That is how I keep my cars running smoothly without worrying about repair bills. Make sure you stick around until the end, because I am going to show you the single most powerful WD-40 trick that could keep a $500 repair bill from ever showing up in your mailbox. First, picture this. Most people, when something goes wrong with their car, immediately head to the mechanic without even knowing what they are paying for. What I want you to do is stop that. Instead, realize that most everyday car problems fit into categories that WD-40 was actually designed to fix. WD-40 is not just some random spray you keep in the garage. The name says it all. WD-40 stands for water displacement. 40th formula. This is an aerospace-grade blend of hydrocarbons like nonane, decane, and dodecaine. These ingredients can solve problems that mechanics are happy to charge you hundreds of dollars for. Before we get into the tricks, you need to know what WD-40 can and cannot do. It is mainly a solvent and moisture displacer, and it provides temporary lubrication. It is not a heavy-duty grease or a replacement for engine oil. Let us kick things off with trick number 14. Most people assume that protecting your car from rust means spending $300 to $500 every year on professional treatments. Here is what I do instead. I use WD-40 as a bridge treatment between those expensive appointments. Winter driving brings unique problems, especially if you live where there is snow, ice, and road salt. Salt corrosion can eat away at your car's undercarriage and body panels, costing you thousands over the years. WD-40 acts as a temporary moisture barrier between professional rust proofings. For example, some Toyota 4Runner owners in salt-prone regions use WD-40 for seasonal rust proofing. They spray it into drain holes, frame interiors, and undercarriages with air compressors when the car is cold. You will want gloves and a mask for this job. The layer stays wet for hours and then dries to a film that can last for months. If you reapply twice during winter, you keep that protection going. However, here is the catch. WD-40's effect is short-lived, usually only a week or two. If you spray it onto a wet surface, it can actually trap moisture and speed up rust instead of stopping it. That is why this is our least effective trick. For real, long-term protection, you still need specialized rust inhibitors. WD-40 is a solid stopgap that costs way less than a pro job, but do not expect miracles. Moving up from basic undercarriage protection, let us talk about trick number 13. This one is all about cleaning and maintaining your mirrors and glass. WD-40 can give you a quick, streak-free finish and keep your visibility crystal clear. The science behind it is simple. WD-40's solvents break down water spots, grime, and sticky residue that build up on your car glass and mirrors. If you use a little and wipe it thoroughly, it leaves a thin film that repels water and helps keep things cleaner for longer. However, you need to be careful. Do not spray WD-40 all over your car windshield or interior windows. It can leave an oily film that messes with your visibility. For exterior glass, put a small amount on a clean cloth and wipe the surface, then immediately remove any extra with another cloth. This prevents streaks and buildup. The cost savings here are not huge, maybe $10 to $20 compared to a professional cleaning, but the convenience and speed make it totally worth doing yourself as part of regular maintenance. Now, here is where WD-40 really starts to shine. Trick number 12 is all about removing food stains and gum from your car's interior. These are common problems that can cost $20 to $50 if you pay a pro to clean them up. WD-40's blend of oil and volatile alcohol breaks down the sticky properties of gum and dissolves many food stains. The alcohol evaporates quickly, while the oil helps lift away the mess. For gum, spray a little WD-40 directly on the spot and let it soak for a few minutes. Then, gently work the gum loose with a plastic scraper and wipe it away with a clean cloth. You need to keep safety in mind here. Make sure you have good ventilation when you use WD-40 inside your car because the fumes can build up. Also, always test on a hidden area first, because WD-40 can sometimes stain or damage delicate fabrics. This trick is a lifesaver for emergency cleanups and can save you a lot compared to professional detailing, especially if you have kids or eat in your car often. Next, let us get into trick number 11. This one deals with removing adhesive residue from windshields and car bodies. If you have ever tried to get rid of old stickers, decals, or registration tags, you know it can be a pain, and pros will charge you $30 to $60 for the job. WD-40 works because it penetrates and dissolves the sticky compounds in most adhesives. For windshields, spray WD-40 onto a cloth instead of directly on the glass. Rub it into the residue, let it sit for a few minutes, then gently scrape it away with a plastic tool. On painted surfaces, be extra careful and only use a tiny bit, then wipe it off right away. Always test a small spot first to avoid damaging your paint. This technique is especially handy for removing dealer decals and stubborn sticker gunk. Pros use similar solvents, but the labor is what drives up the price. Doing it yourself with WD-40 is simple and effective. Now, let us move to trick number 10. This one is all about preventing ice buildup on car door handles and locks, which can lead to expensive repairs, especially if you drive a modern car with electronic door handles. Frozen car door handles and locks happen when moisture gets into the mechanism and freezes. This is a big problem for electric vehicles like Tesla's, where a frozen door handle can strain the electronics and cost you hundreds to fix. Tesla even recommends using WD-40 on door handle springs to prevent freezing. WD-40's water displacement ability is perfect for this. For maximum effectiveness, apply WD-40 when temperatures are above freezing, allowing the product to penetrate thoroughly. Spray onto door handle pivot points and hinge mechanisms, then operate the handles several times to distribute the product. Just remember, WD-40's oil will evaporate over time, so you will need to reapply, and it can attract dirt if you do not clean things regularly. If you are getting value from these tips so far, hit that like button so YouTube knows to share this with other car owners who need to save money too. Thank you. Now, let us step into some serious cost-saving territory with trick number 9. This one is about removing tar and tree sap from your car's paint, something that can cost $30 to $80 at a detail shop. WD-40's special blend of hydrocarbons can dissolve the sticky compounds in tar and tree sap, which bond tightly to your paint and get harder to remove the longer they sit. For best results, spray WD-40 right on the spot as soon as you notice the mess. Let it soak for a few minutes, then wipe away the softened tar or sap with a soft cloth. You might need to repeat this for really stubborn spots. Be careful though. WD-40 can strip wax and even damage older paint, so always test a hidden spot first and re-wax the area when you are done. If you regularly park under trees or drive on tarred roads, this trick can save you a ton of money and keep your car looking sharp. Let us keep going with trick number 8, which is all about chrome protection and maintenance. Restoring chrome parts can cost $300 to $500 each if you go to a pro. Chrome is shiny and tough, but once it starts to pit or rust, you are looking at expensive repairs. WD-40 helps by creating a temporary moisture barrier on chrome surfaces. Clean the chrome well, then spray a light coat of WD-40 and buff it with a microfiber cloth. This keeps water off and helps prevent rust. You should do this regularly, especially before and after harsh weather or if you drive on salty roads. Remember, WD-40 is only a temporary fix. For long-term chrome care, you will want a specialized chrome polish. The real value here is in stretching out the time between those expensive professional treatments. Now, let us talk about trick number 7. This one is for those annoying car door squeaks and noisy moving parts. Most shops will charge you at least $50 just to diagnose a squeak. WD-40 works as both a cleaner and a temporary lubricant. Squeaks usually mean metal parts are rubbing together without enough lubrication. WD-40 gets into small spaces, cleans out grime, and leaves a film that stops the noise right away. Spray a little WD-40 on hinges, latches, or pivot points, and move the part back and forth to spread it around. The fix is instant, but remember, it is only temporary. For long-term results, follow up with a heavier lubricant like white lithium grease. Let's move into trick number 6, which is all about keeping your hood latch and door mechanisms working smoothly. These are critical for safety and security, and if they fail, you could be looking at a bill of $50 to $100 just for a mechanic to service them. Hood latches and door mechanisms are exposed to weather, dirt, and road debris, which can cause them to stick or corrode over time. WD-40 is perfect for this job because it can reach into the complex assemblies of springs, pivots, and cables that make up modern latches. You should locate the latch mechanisms, usually at the front of the hood and along the door frames, and spray WD-40 onto all the moving parts, like pivots, springs, and cable connections. After spraying, operate the latch or door a few times to help distribute the product. If you keep up with this maintenance, you can prevent your hood from getting stuck shut or not closing properly, which can turn into a real safety hazard. Just remember, for lock cylinders, it's better to use graphite powder for long-term lubrication or alcohol-based de-icer for emergencies, since WD-40 can attract dirt and gum up the lock. Also, avoid spraying electronic sensors, since WD-40 can cause electrical issues if it gets on those components. Now, let's talk about trick number 5, which is headlight restoration. If you have cloudy or yellow headlights, you know how bad it can get for night driving. Professional restoration services charge $50 to $150 per pair, but you can get a quick improvement with WD-40. Modern headlights are made of polycarbonate plastic, which gets cloudy from UV exposure and oxidation. WD-40 works by temporarily dissolving surface oxidation and grime. Clean the headlight first, then spray WD-40 on a clean cloth and rub it onto the lens in circles. Let it sit for a few minutes, then buff with a dry cloth until clear. You might need to repeat this for best results. This fix works best on mild to moderate haze, and the improvement can last a few weeks or months. For a longer-lasting solution, you'll still want to use a dedicated headlight restoration kit. WD-40 does not address the underlying structural changes in the plastic that cause permanent cloudiness, and the improvement typically lasts only weeks or months before reapplication is needed. For comprehensive headlight restoration, professional services use specialized compounds and often apply protective coatings that provide lasting improvement. Next, trick number 4 is engine bay cleaning. Pros charge $50 to $100 for this, but you can do it yourself with WD-40. Over time, your engine bay collects oil, grease, and road grime. WD-40 dissolves greasy buildup and displaces moisture, helping prevent corrosion on metal parts. Before you start, make sure the engine is cool. Spray WD-40 on greasy areas, let it soak for a few minutes, then wipe or rinse off the grime. For really tough spots, you might need to repeat. Avoid spraying WD-40 on rubber hoses, plastic parts, or electrical sensors, since it can cause damage there. For those areas, a citrus-based degreaser is safer. I once cleaned up an old pickup's engine bay that had years of caked-on grime. After a careful WD-40 treatment, it looked nearly new, and I was able to spot a small oil leak that would have gone unnoticed. Now let's get into trick number 3, which covers seized lug nuts and rusted bolts. Roadside assistance can charge you $100 or more just to break a stuck bolt. Rust forms when moisture and oxygen react with metal, bonding nuts and bolts together. WD-40 can penetrate into the threads and start dissolving the rust. If you are dealing with a stuck bolt, start by brushing off surface rust, then spray WD-40 and let it soak for 15 to 30 minutes. Tap the bolt with a hammer to help the oil penetrate deeper. For really stubborn bolts, you might need to repeat the process or use heat. Heat expands metal components, breaking rust bonds mechanically while enhancing penetrating oil effectiveness. It is worth noting that true penetrating oils like PB Blaster or Liquid Wrench work even better for severe rust, but WD-40 is a great first step, especially in emergencies. I have freed up plenty of seized lug nuts on the side of the road with nothing but WD-40 and a little patience, saving myself a big towing bill. Now, we are almost at the top. Trick number 2 is about protecting electrical sensors from moisture. Modern cars have dozens of sensors, and replacing even one can cost $200 to $500. WD-40 can help by driving out moisture from sensor housings and exposed connectors, preventing corrosion and electrical shorts. Spray a light coat on connectors and sensor housings, especially in areas exposed to water, like wheel wells or under the hood. Just be careful. WD-40 can conduct electricity when wet, so never spray it on live circuits, and do not overdo it. For the best long-term protection, use a dedicated electrical contact cleaner. And now, the #1 WD-40 trick that can save you the most money: battery terminal maintenance. Corroded car battery terminals are one of the most common causes of dead batteries and charging problems. A new car battery costs $150 to $300, and if corrosion damages your alternator, you could be out $500 or more. Corrosion happens when car battery acid reacts with the metal terminals and creates crusty deposits that block the flow of electricity. The safest way to clean this is to disconnect the negative terminal. Wear gloves and eye protection, and use a baking soda and water solution to neutralize the acid. After cleaning, spray WD-40 on the terminals to displace moisture and add a temporary protective film. For long-term protection, follow up with dielectric grease. I have seen cars towed for no-start problems that were simply caused by corroded battery terminals. A quick WD-40 treatment and cleaning would have kept those cars on the road and saved the owners hundreds. Maybe you are thinking this all sounds like a lot of work, or you are not sure you can handle the tougher jobs. Here is the good news. Most WD-40 applications are totally reversible. If you try a fix and are not happy with the results, you can always go to a pro, and you have not made things worse. I have personally started a job with WD-40, realized I needed more help, and still got the pro service without any extra trouble. It is like having a do-over option for your car maintenance. There you have it, 14 proven ways to use WD-40 to cut your car maintenance costs from $500 to $50. When you add up the savings from each trick, like avoiding $200 locksmith calls, $300 battery replacements, or even $800 alternator repairs, the total can easily reach thousands of dollars over your car's life. The biggest takeaway is that a single $6 can of WD-40 can help prevent repair bills that would wreck your budget. But here's the thing, WD-40 is just the beginning. If you want to discover the maintenance secrets that mechanics never talk about, the same secrets that can literally make your car last 300,000 miles or more, then you need to check out the next video on your screen right now. Some of these tips are so powerful, even the pros don't want you to know about them. Click here and unlock the next level of car care.